Jason's joining us right now live. Thanks, Teddy, very much. Thanks to our traders. Jason, what were you doing the past 72 hours? I saw you quoted over the weekend in a lot of articles where you didn't seem too bereft. You weren't too concerned. You knew that there would be a sell-off, but you were buying. What are you doing now?
Well, I think you have to take this into consideration. The equity markets in any given year are more likely than not to have a 5 to 10% correction in that given year. The history of those corrections is that you still have, on average, a gain in the year that you had that 10% correction from the high to the low. The other thing that I would point out is Monday, we really saw the depths of the breakout and the crisis. We saw all four of our primary indicators suggested there was panic selling in the market, whether you're looking at the VIX or the number of stocks below their 200-day moving average. We saw all those coincide. What we normally think about at this point in time is when you have a correction of this magnitude, either it's a correction in the middle of a longer-term expansion or it's an indication that you're about to head into recession. We took a step back, looked at our economic indicators, looked at our earnings indicators, and while we know that we have some concern with China, our base case still is that we're in a global economic expansion, and therefore this is a correction, not an impending recession. Typically in an environment where there's a correction, the market finds its way back to those highs again.
Jason, I got some breaking news here. The S&P 500 is now up 60 points. Going into this final hour of trade, the high for the S&P was up 46 points. This is a major gain here. We now have the Dow Jones Industrials up 516 points. And so you say it doesn't look as bad right now?
No,
okay.
Very small to say.
Okay, at this time yesterday, Art Cashin just told me that at this time yesterday, it was a lot uglier when it looked like what the big program trades were going to look like at the close. A lot of selling. Jason, he just came up and told me it doesn't look anywhere near as bearish at the moment. So let's spin it forward right now. Where are the real opportunities?
Yeah, the real opportunities in our mind are pretty broad-based. You've got an opportunity here. If you're underweight in the large caps in the U.S., there's an opportunity there kind of broadly. Additional to that, we would add the international markets, particularly the international developed markets, which really got hit alongside with a lot of the emerging market issues. That's a place where between Europe and Japan, you have good things that are going on and really decent valuations at the same time. U.S. market, we still think is more fairly valued. The international markets is where the real valuation opportunity sits.
I want to throw some of your picks up here. You like Accenture. You like Boeing. I mean, these are big major names, but there is an interesting thread that is common here along with Schlumberger. They all pay pretty significant dividends. I think Accenture's 2.2%. You've got Boeing 2.9% dividend there. Schlumberger a 2.9% dividend. Is it dividend the way to go now?
Well, if you think about what you need to do in the U.S., we think that you're going with sustainability and quality at this point in time. With the valuations on the overall market still more in the fair value territory, you have to get more stock specific. And each of those have some underlying situations that provide the opportunity. Accenture is still growing broadly on a global basis. Great dividend growth story and earnings growth story. Boeing has a very specific product cycle that's going to turn them very strong into a cash flow position. And Schlumberger is just a really interesting idea to take a way to invest in the energy sector on these lows in a sustainable franchise that can capitalize on their financial position by doing acquisitions like they did today.
Yeah, that was a near $15 billion acquisition with all this Sturm und Drang happening in the markets. A pretty gutsy move for Schlumberger in the oil services business. Jason, great to see you. You're going to marry Teddy? You allow that?
Thanks for having me on, Liz. And we're going to have to talk about that.